All right, so we are now live. This is Tim Nichols. I'm here with Brandon Doyle and Walter Hall. Now, Walter, you've started a business doing drones in real estate. Can you tell us a little bit about how that started off and why drones, and also kind of preface that. Do you prefer drones or UAVs for the name of them?
All right. America, the world has coined the term drones. Technically, legally, the word is UAVs or UAS. Um, now, I, there's no way getting around it. It's a drone is a drone. The reason why people don't like the name drone is because a drone is anything over 55 pounds that the government uses, and they basically, the first drones that came out were, bombing people in the Iraqi war. Like, that's where they got their their recognition, and so it got a lot of negative press. Um, but now with the ever growing industry, they are drones. So I call them drones. The hobbyist, I walked into a hobby store and I said, "Hey man, are you guys having a great year selling drones?" And, "Oh, we don't sell drones." Okay. He said, "We sell quadcopters and UAS." Okay. But 99% of the population, they see one of these guys flying and they go, "That's a drone." So it is what it is. Now, how I got into it. Um, I'm a realtor with Keller Williams here in Charlottesville, Virginia, and my girlfriend and I have a number of properties, and I have always had a passion for flying. I believe it was in college in 2003. I got my third helicopter, and I ended up getting a little pinhole wireless camera off eBay, and I hooked it to the helicopter, and I was flying it from my living room out over the Broughton Street, downtown Savannah, and it was a live feed on the TV. Thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Nice.
Uh, it didn't last that long. Obviously, the $200 helicopter crashed, and yeah. But I followed the trends with DJI and the Phantoms, and I've never been a GoPro kind of person, and the GoPros were the first ones to come out on the DJI Phantom, and there were a lot of malfunctions that I was reading. Um, Once the Phantom 3 came out, um, I believe a mutual buddy of all of ours, maybe I know Tim, Keith Bliss down in Cary, North Carolina, he got one, and I was like, all right, I'm getting one. So we both got one in the same month. That was in September. And I was, look, we can capture the whole market here and really give our clients such a better view, um, from raw land to large parcels of land, and that's where it started. All I wanted to do was give a bird's eye view and have a little something, have my niche just a little different than the typical agent that's out here um, taking, iPhone pictures of their property, um, or even, hiring a photographer coming in and doing, you know, wonderful $300 pictures. So after I got it, I said, well, I better start finding out if there's a law about this. Well, I didn't have to search hard, found out it was very illegal if I was promoting myself whatsoever, if I was doing it for free, if I was promoting myself forever, in any way, it was illegal. If it was helping somebody that I was in business with, still illegal. Um, so started reading up, found out you had to have a Section 333 exemption from the FAA, that the Phantoms specifically were the ones that um, were growing so rapidly because of the cost. The cost was so it was so comparable for somebody to go out and buy a $1,200 drone and get 4K resolution, great pictures. So next thing I know, I I'm on I'm trying to figure out how to do this, and um, I get on the FAA website, file for my Section 333. You have to enter in all the how fast it goes, how much it weighs, how much it carries.
Um, Tim?
Valerie reached out to a friend of hers, and he was doing a presentation at his son's school with his Inspire. And Inspire is the next step up. It is the $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 um, drone, and it is at very similar qualities. It's just a lot nicer. Um, so I set up a meeting with him and drove down to Lynchburg and said, look, I know the contacts. I have Charlottesville market. I want to become business partner with you. And we talked for about 3 hours, and he said, Walter, I like your passion. I like your drive. I want you on my team. He said, there is one problem. I can cover you under my Section 333, which he already had. He had since September, and this was in November. And he already had a foundation of the company, which is Central Virginia Aerial Solutions. That foundation was laid. It just had no business. So I said, all right, well, let's figure it out. Let's figure out how I can, A, go out and fly these jobs, B, get more jobs for you, and let's see how we can conquer the whole state of Virginia and then expand into the nation. And he said, all right, let's go. So we have one admin down there, and she's a pilot. And so there's right now we have a pilot in Richmond, a pilot and 2 pilots in Lynchburg, and then whenever I go out, I have to hire a friend that's a retired helicopter pilot, and he comes out, does my jobs. He just likes flying. So, by law, he has to fly my drone, so I get paid. But I enjoy flying, but my passion is this growing industry and how I can get on top. I love learning everything about it. So that was just the start of it. I found a way to do it. I found a way to do it legally. Now it's where to go from here. So now real estate is just kind of, it's bread and butter, but the big money is government contracts, search and rescue, fire, police, making basically these municipalities, they don't have people that are training, keeping up with the software that you have to update these. These are computers. The battery has a computer, the drone has a computer, the controller has a computer. You constantly have to upgrade. You constantly have to do work to them. So, um, but after speaking with the FAA several times, it looks like they're going to be changing that pilot license uh, requirement to. They're trying to figure out how to do maybe a 40-hour drone operator course. So that way you go take the course and you get an operator's license. And because the only thing that a drone operator and a pilot share are about 100 feet of airspace. Because legally we're only allowed to go to 400 feet. Planes, and if a plane is at 400 feet 5 miles from the airport, there's a problem. So those those are the stipulations. But being able to talk to the FAA and letting them know, basically every time we fly we have to file a NOTAM, which basically a NOTAM is when you call the FAA, let them know you're flying in this radius, and if just in case there's helicopters, it puts a little ping. Someone will be flying in this area from 10 to 11, and basically that is our airspace. But I don't want to get all. I don't want to ramble. So Tim, reel me in.
Yeah, let's get right into some of the other questions we have here. I see you do have the DJI Phantom 3 in the background there. Is that the only aircraft you have experience with, or have you had any other ones in the past?
Have two Phantom 3s, and we have a Inspire X1 and an X5, and actually two X5s, and then the Phantom DJ2.
Okay. So you would recommend a Phantom for someone who's trying to get into it?
Absolutely. I haven't gotten to play with the Phantom 4 yet.
It looks pretty cool.
It looks amazing. It's but for the price, for someone just starting out, save your money. Go with the Phantom 3. It does pretty much. The only thing that I see different is a little bit more sleek, but you have the 4K quality. You have they've made the adjustments for the motors. It's a dependable aircraft.
Yeah, and it's got the GPS and everything built in. I
Absolutely.
actually started doing some aerial stuff back in 2012, I believe. And back then, you had to put everything together. I remember starting with Turbo Ace, which is a different brand, and then I went to the DJI F550, and then started getting into the Phantom series. And right now, I have an Inspire and a Phantom 2, but I only use mine for hobbies because I don't have the waiver that you have. So.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of waiting to see where that goes, but I would definitely say that the Phantom is super user friendly for anyone that's watching, and
Absolutely.
anyone.
Absolutely.
So how has this affected your real estate business?
I've been on the news several times, and so free publicity. I'm in a town of 40. Town of Charlottesville is 43,000, and then the outlying counties are about 60, so about 100,000 people. And it's when you get 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and then the next morning 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Top story: real estate agent Walter Hall. Real estate agent Walter Hall. It's hard to say that it's not good publicity.
Nice. How did you land that spot?
It was actually funny. I was friends on Facebook with a news. He's one of the newscast guys, and I wished him a happy birthday from your local real estate / drone enthusiast, and somebody else at the news station said, "Hey, you know that drone guy?" let's do a story on them.
Wow,
So
that's
that
awesome.
yeah, and that was right before I teamed up with Kyle and got the whole Section 333 exemption. So I was very weary. I said, I don't want you guys to spin this story. I'm flattered that you want to do it, but um, you have to say that this is just for a hobby because I can't show clients until I get my Section 333. And so that was made, and then a month later, I was protected with the $2 million insurance and the Section 333, and I called them back and I said, "Come on, let's do a second story. I want to get rocking and rolling."
Nice.
And they said, "No, we don't need to do that." And then it was
That's too
about
bad.
yeah, but it took a natural disaster here in the state of Virginia that killed 6 people. We had 8 tornadoes last month,
Oh,
and it was a very very strange phenomenon here in Virginia to have end of the winter tornadoes. And right when the tornadoes hit, we called the FAA, filed NOTAMs in every county that had been hit, and my business partner Kyle and I, we just went out that daylight the next morning, and I have friends that are part of the Virginia Department of Emergency Management, and they directly deal with the governor. So I spent all day with them, and I called 29, the local news, and said, "Hey, we're down here filming." So they did another story on us that day. So that was
Are you still there, Walter? We're kind of
yeah.
losing you a little bit. Okay. So how do your clients feel about drones? Have you gotten any wariness from them?
How do I what drones?
How do your clients feel about them? Are they like wanting them for their listings, or have they expressed any wariness?
Um, yes and no. It's some clients are well, especially with listings. The only no, and the fact that I have the licensing and the proper certification, that's what they know being taken care of, and it's going to help them out.
so how long did that process to get the waiver take?
Waiver took for Kyle and I. We filed it in May 2015 and got it in September. So, um, that was, September was the beginning of the rush. Now the FAA is trying to push through. They say 52 a week, but every day I get on FAA's website and see who's been approved. I'm compiling a list in an Excel spreadsheet of every company that has been Section 333 approved, so I can have that.
Huh. And what is your goal with that?
My goal with that is tops. I plan on getting basically a large database of all Section 3 holders, and that that's my plan right now is to get it to have a whole database, and
Okay.
something really cool is going to be
Kind of like
evolving.
drone base, or you trying to set up a referral network, or
No, drone base is I've I've reached out to drone base, and I like their concept, but completely different model.
okay. Hey, you cut out a little bit there, but for people that are watching, if they're not familiar, Dronebase is like Uber for drones on your phone. Basically, at any time you could order up a pilot and they would come out to your area. And so they're trying to contract with different pilots in different areas to provide those services. And they're independent contractors of the
Absolutely.
company. Yeah, cool.
So you talked about your relationship with your clients and such. Are you doing other people's clients or other realtors in your area contacting you to get their listings shot?
Absolutely. We, Charlottesville market is pretty limited. I'm hoping to hold a kind of a conference in the next 2 weeks with as many realtors as possible. Um, I've made an internet presence, but I haven't gone out and said, "Hey, hire me." We've had 3 or 4 realtors here in town that have used us and have been very happy. Um, so yeah.
Awesome. Where did you go to get your insurance?
We'll have to ask my admin. She
Okay.
has it's all through the Bon Air um, our company that is set up down in Lynchburg under Central Virginia Aerial Solutions.
Interesting.
Mhm.
And then so you said that you couldn't fly. You have to have a friend come with that does have a pilot's license. Do you think that's going to change anytime soon?
Absolutely. That's, I have my pilot's $5,000 and get my 43 hours of flight time so I can go out and do this,
Hmm.
or pilot $50 a day to come hang out and fly my bird. Um, I can kind of direct and give the artistic look that feel that I want. And um, but I have, after personally speaking with the head of the we should know something by the end of the summer of 2016, our about a drone certificate program.
Awesome.
Yep.
So have you heard any horror stories about the FAA cracking down on real estate agents who are flying these, or anything like that, or do you know if there's a lot of enforcement going on?
Oh yes. So that FAA guy that I was just speaking about, I got reported for not having a Section 33 a little over a month ago, and leave his name out, but he introduced himself, and I said, "Yes, sir. How may I help you?" And he was with the FAA, and he wanted to see some documentation, and I said, "Absolutely. This is my company, Central Virginia Aerial Solutions." And he said, "Oh, you work with Kyle?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And so, after that, everything was all good. He looked us up, saw that I was on the Section 333, and that's when we had a dialogue about the future of the laws with drones. So it was really cool. We
Awesome.
actually just our company actually just got so right now you have a modem for 24 hours before you go out and fly.
Hmm.
So you can't just have an agent call you and say, "I want you here in an hour." No, you have to go call FAA, let them know that it's the 5 miles from an airport, and B, give them 24 hours, and you're good to go. Well, uh, for the search and rescue that I've been doing, it's it's not really feasible You know, if there's a kid drowning and a life jacket needs to be delivered across the river to a kid that's drowning, by all means, I'm going to go forgiveness later. But now, last week, we just got the first ever approval from the FAA to have immediate NOTAMs filed. So just we're the only company in the nation that can file a NOTAM within minutes. So
Cool.
that's
And so that would be for when you want to go above 200 feet, or is that for just in general? Because I do know that you can get the certificate that allows you to go up to 200 feet as like a blanket acceptance. Is that true?
no, that not.
Okay.
You need to have, if you are flying at all, you have to, for commercial use.
hmm
For commercial use, so search and rescue, anything commercial, you have to file a NOTAM.
Okay.
Hobbyists can fly up to 400 feet. 200 feet, it doesn't matter. But, you know, for commercial use, you have to file a NOTAM. Let me get my plug. Next question.
Yeah, Tim, it looks like we just have the one last question. We want to take
All
that.
right. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about the safety precautions that you use with regards to drones to make sure that people are safe?
Absolutely.
And then also, wasn't on our original sheet that we sent you. Do you do anything with drones indoors to do videography of homes?
So first off, we're going to do safety. Absolutely. So safety is a very, very big precaution in our company. And number one, safety. You check all your batteries. Make sure that all batteries are properly functioning, fully charged. Have a whole list. It's at my office, but have a whole list of basically pre-flight requisite that you have to go through, and make sure your batteries, make sure that your props are not cracked, no damage in them, and you basically do just like a pilot does before they go out and fly in an aircraft. They do a walk around. When all the people are getting on the plane, pilot goes out, or the co-pilot, and walks the plane, makes sure everything. You just don't take a drone, throw it out, and fly it up. You want to really survey it and make sure everything is all right, acting properly. And then the number one is not to fly over a crowd. These things do have glitches. They are computers, and as both of you guys know, computer tech savvy guys, there are glitches. So, they aren't going to always work. They will fall out of the sky. So I would never fly over top of a crowd directly. Those are some of the key things when it comes to flying drones. Oh, you there? Okay. And then, what was the last one?
The other one was I've seen that some places they are using drones inside homes to do the kind of the jib work and that sort of thing. Is that something you are into yet, or is it something you're going into, or is it something you think is just not in where you guys are going?
No, we just did I shared on my Facebook page. We did they're doing a restoration of an old theater in Lynchburg, Virginia. It's been shut down for 70-something years. And flying indoors with these, like I said, they are computers and they have satellite signals. So the nice still shot inside, you lose all GPS. So you're at 100% pilot controls, and it does drift. So, I mean, the camera has this amazing gimbal on it, and it keeps it nice and steady. But it's much more difficult to fly inside. DJI has a fantastic product called an Osmo, and an Osmo is basically a handheld device with amazing camera that it's great. Highly recommend checking out the website DJI.com, especially for a videographer. If you get a Phantom, but as far as flying, inside listings or houses, I don't like it. These things kick up so much air, and unless you're in a 10,000 square foot house that you can just fly out, go out there, screen pool, or through a 5,000, it's just you need a lot of space.
Yeah, Tim and I actually used my Inspire 1 at a Remax conference, and the idea was to have it take off and go over the crowd down like the center aisle, so it wouldn't be actually over anyone. But we tested it the day before at the depot, which is in Minneapolis here, and it was awesome. But then the day of the event when we went to do it, as soon as it got off the ground, it just started throwing everything up in the air, like all these papers. And things. We had to keep it in this very confined area. It was a lot less exciting than we originally anticipated. But we were able to broadcast the feed from the drone onto the screen behind me. It was kind of a cool effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we did with the search and rescue. It was great being able to broadcast to a command center, and then the whole search and rescue thing took off just by talking to people about drones, and then you need to meet this person and you need to meet this person, and it's turned into a contract with the state of Virginia for us. And so any kind of disaster, first a shooter situation, police, they've called. Actually today we filmed a search warrant being served in Richmond, Virginia, in a bad neighborhood. So we flew the Inspire over that. It was being live broadcasted to the command center, and that was before the officers went in and with their SWAT and riot gear and served the search warrant.
Wow.
So, yeah,
that's a cool contract to have.
Yeah. A mile and a half away, and just as long as you have sight of the Phantom or their Inspire, you're good to go, and you can really help people out. And I think that's what people are seeing. But the municipalities, they don't have guys like you and I, Brandon, that know how to do the software, and they don't want to pay somebody $40,000 a year to do it. The state would much rather contract it out job by job, and even though it would be a lot more, more expensive, that's fun. The search and rescue is fun. Mapping is becoming a really big job that pays really well. Mapping, helping survey companies out, going out mapping land parcels, putting down property lines. That's a real neat and profitable business right now.
Are you using Pix 3DI for that, or Pix 4D or whatever it's called, the software?
No, we bought this other mapping software. What is it? I don't, off the top of my head. I personally have never done a mapping job with the Phantom. Okay. Just Kyle, and I work on selling them.
There you go. That's what we're the best at in this business, right? The
exactly.
Side of things.
Right.
Awesome.
So Walter, if people wanted to look you up to either talk to you about your experiences or hire you for a job or what have you, where would they go?
You can go to centralvirginiaaerialsolutions.com. I know it's long, it's painful, or you can just give me a call at 434-327-9042. I'll always take your call, and look forward to helping everybody out.
Awesome.
Any last questions, Brandon?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Walter, for joining us, and have a great day.
All right, you all too. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks again for having us. All right, bye.